Russia launched a full invasion of Ukraine on 23rd of February, which is a very tragic event. The tension between Ukraine and Russia has been ongoing for months. We hear a lot in the news that the Russian troops have been built up near the border area of Ukraine. But despite this, many people don't really expect that this tension would escalate into a full-scale invasion. Even many Ukrainians themselves are in disbelief at this moment. It is very tragic that this has happened, and my thoughts are with the lives that are impacted by this invasion, both Ukrainians and Russians. And unfortunately, this invasion has further complicated an already messy global economy that is trying to recover from the pandemic. This invasion has already caused spikes in energy and food prices. Crude oil price passed above $100 a barrel for the first time since 2014. And here in Europe, we get nearly 25% of oil supply and 40% of our natural gas supply from Russia. We have already been feeling pain in the high prices in oil and gas for the past few months. Now we are certainly going to feel more pain in our heating and gas bills for the remaining winter months. Putin certainly has an upper hand on this because he is reducing supplies to gain a political advantage. And European leaders cannot do much other than the weak words of condemning Putin's action. You may say the sanctions will help. Well, I'm not a geopolitical expert, but I know Russia's major export is oil, gas, and raw materials, and major imports are machinery, equipment, and transport. Other than that, Russia is a minor player in the global economy. Sanctions on Russia's imports like machinery and equipment from the Western countries will do some harm, but not at all vital. The reason being Russia could seek supply from elsewhere, like for example China. And the pain might not be as immediate because machineries usually have much longer lifespan. But the sanctions on Russia's exports like natural gas and oil will also hurt Europe more. And the pain is felt immediately across Europe. That is why you see the Western countries mainly putting sanctions on Russia's technology imports and Russian banks. And these sanctions will also hurt the Western companies that are selling to Russia. The collateral damage cannot be avoided totally. Many believe that Western countries would also ban Russia from the SWIFT interbank payment system, which could give Russia immediate pain, because then Russia will not be able to receive payments from its gas and oil sale. But this will also mean Russia cannot pay its current debt to other countries. Data from the Bank for International Settlements shows French and Austrian banks have the largest Russian debt among Western lenders. French at 24.2 billion and Austrian at 17.2 billion. They are followed by US lenders at 16 billion, Japanese at 9.6 billion, and German banks at 8.8 billion. So cutting Russia off from SWIFT would make it tough for European creditors to get their money back. As unfortunate as it may sound, there are no effective immediate measures that could stop Putin at this moment. This invasion probably wakes up all European countries and forces Europe to further diversify its oil and gas supply and stay away from Russia as much as possible. Some analysts believe that this will further dampen the role Russia is playing in Europe and also cause long-term damage to Russia's economy. But I don't think Putin is doing this without the preparation of sanctions. China and Russia have been warming up recently. The two nations recently negotiated a 30-year contract for Russia to supply gas to China through a new pipeline. So without Europe as the biggest customer, Russia is likely to pivot all energy and commodity exports to China. And as of Russia's role in Europe, this invasion actually helps Putin to gain more influence in the region. Think about it. Putin's goal is to overthrow the Ukrainian government that is pro-NATO and replace it with a puppet government of his. And Putin knows that NATO cannot act, at least not openly, because Ukraine is not a NATO country. But secretly, I have no idea. So openly, there will be no military support from NATO countries to Ukraine. Putin is actually sending a loud and clear message to all its previous Soviet states that are not in NATO. The message is, don't you dare to be close to NATO. You might be next on the list, and NATO cannot even help you in this case. So he is hoping to gain more political influence over those countries by slaughtering Ukraine. This is really sick as hell. No one should endure the pain of a war. And for our global economy, the further spikes in energy, food, and raw materials prices fuel another round of inflation fears, as well as the concern for slowing economic activities around the world. Russia, and together with Ukraine, accounts for nearly a quarter of total global exports of wheat. Ukraine, also long known as the breadbasket of Europe, this invasion has spiked wheat prices to its highest level in more than a decade. Russia is also a key supplier of essential metals like palladium, aluminium, and nickel. This invasion will cause shortages of those metals and create another disruption to the global supply chains. For example, palladium, which is widely used in automotive exhaust systems and mobile phones and dental fillings. Nickel, which is used to make steel and electric car batteries. So the industries that are relying on Russia's metal supply are going to be disrupted heavily. But as for the stock market, it seems that investors feel the worst has been priced in. And because of this invasion, the Fed might loosen its hawkish tone and become more accommodative towards the monetary policy. Ironically, the S&P 500 rallied 6.5% in just 2 days from the day of invasion. While we still don't know exactly what the Fed will do at the 16th of March meeting, remaining cautious for now is a wise move. Although the stock market has shown some sign of bullishness, but still it is very volatile. So there is a high likelihood that we will get another dip before 16th of March, and that may be a good time to buy into the market. I follow the market closely on this channel. If you like this content, please smash the like button and subscribe if you haven't already. Now that's it for today. I hope you all stay safe no matter where you are, and I will see you in my next video. Bye!